Welcome back to the Deep Dive. You know those stories in sports that just grab everyone's attention, spark endless debates, blow up social media? Well, today, we're diving headfirst into one of those. Our mission: to unpack Canelo versus Crawford, the super fight saga. And this isn't just, some random potential fight. Our sources are saying it's a genuine phenomenon right now. It's really trending today. Massive anticipation building. So yeah, we're going to trace its journey, like from then to now, give you the full picture, help you understand why this saga is such a hot topic.
Exactly. And when we talk about a super fight saga, it's really more than just one fight night, isn't it? These are narratives that can build up over years. It involves, the incredible skill, but also the legacies, the what-ifs, the whole cultural impact. For you, the listener, getting that full sweep, how it kind of started, why things heated up, and why it's all over the headlines today, that's key. It's about getting past the surface noise.
Right. Understanding the real currents. Okay, so let's jump right into the now. What's making Canelo versus Crawford, the super fight saga, trend today? Like, what's the immediate spark? What are our insights telling us?
Well, the current buzz, as our sources are showing, it's not really from one single thing. It's more like a potent combination of factors, really building that anticipation. Firstly, there's definitely renewed speculation. A lot of it seems driven by recent comments from some pretty prominent folks in boxing.
Oh, okay. So like promoters, trainers, that kind of thing.
Exactly. We're hearing whispers about potential talks maybe, or even just a sort of willingness from both camps to seriously look at the matchup. And these aren't just, random internet rumors. They seem to be coming from fairly credible voices, which makes the whole thing feel a bit more tangible than before.
Okay, tangible. I like that. What else?
Secondly, you've got both Canelo and Crawford coming off some really dominant recent wins. That's only solidified their status as, pound-for-pound elite fighters. Crawford's last fight, becoming undisputed again, huge statement. And Canelo just keeps reigning supreme at super-middleweight. He's always on those best-in-the-world lists.
Right, so they're both at the absolute peak of their powers, pretty much.
Precisely. And that convergence, both guys looking unstoppable, that fuels the fan demand like crazy. The stakes feel incredibly high because this isn't just about another title. It's seen as this clash of generational talents, both at their peak, looking to carve their names even deeper into boxing history.
So it's about legacy then. Ultimate bragging rights.
Yeah, absolutely. It's perceived as a fight for potentially undisputed legacy across different weight divisions. That's massive.
That definitely brings up an interesting point. Without getting into their full life stories just yet, what is it about Canelo and Crawford themselves, just their general stature, that makes this specific matchup so compelling? Why does it trend so hard?
Well, the names alone, Canelo and Crawford, they just carry immense weight in the boxing world, don't they? Canelo Álvarez, as our sources point out, he's arguably the biggest star in boxing today. Multi-division champ, huge power, great counterpuncher, sells out massive arenas.
Right, the face of the sport for many.
Definitely. His star power alone means any opponent gets a massive platform, huge payday.
Right.
And you have Terence Crawford, widely seen as one of the most technically gifted fighters, maybe ever. Undisputed in 2 weight classes, that amazing switch-hitting style, his boxing IQ, just brilliant tactics.
So 2 very different fighters, but both at the absolute top.
Exactly. And they represent these different but equally compelling styles of boxing greatness. Canelo's got that explosive power, the massive fan base. Crawford brings that almost untouchable technical skill, the undefeated record. The public gets it, They understand that putting these 2 titans together isn't just another bout, it's potentially a historic event. Their individual impact, their track records, just the idea of them fighting creates this immediate, widespread interest that goes way beyond the usual sports headlines. It's not just a fight, it feels like a moment.
It really does.
Yeah.
Okay, so their individual greatness is a massive driver. But you know how these big sagas go.
Mm-hmm.
Is there anything particularly unique or maybe surprising about this specific moment? Something maybe the casual fan might miss in why it's trending so much right now?
Yeah, that's where looking a bit deeper helps. What's really striking, I think, about why it's trending so strongly now is that huge weight disparity. That's a major factor our sources point to.
Right. Canelo's at 168, Crawford clean down 147. That's a big gap.
It's a very big gap. And the surprise might be that despite this major hurdle, the conversation is gaining so much steam right now. It suggests there's this real desire, maybe even a potential willingness to meet somewhere in the middle, like a catchweight.
A catchweight. Wow. Okay. That would push both of them way out of their comfort zones.
Absolutely. And that in itself is a monumental thing to even consider in boxing. So this challenge, bridging that kind of weight gap, it adds this whole other dramatic layer to the story. It's not just champ versus champ, it's potentially two champs compromising on something fundamental to the sport just to make this dream fight happen.
Okay, that is surprising.
And that possibility, or even just the strong rumor of it, that's what makes this current trending status really noteworthy. It underlines the sheer will from fans, maybe the fighters too, to overcome what seemed impossible for a long time. It speaks volumes about the legacy that's potentially on the line.
That's a fantastic point. The weight challenge making it more compelling, not less, right now. Okay, so to really get the full picture, we need to unpack the Saga part. What is the story here from then to now? How did we arrive at this point where it feels like such an epic?
Well, the saga around Canelo and Crawford, based on our sources, it's been building for years, really. It's kind of rooted in how they both rose to the top of the pound-for-pound list, almost in parallel. It wasn't like they were in the same division, heading for an obvious collision. The idea really started forming in the public mind maybe around 2019, 2020.
Okay, so a few years back, what was happening then?
That was when Crawford had really locked down, undisputed at welterweight, showing off just incredible skill. Meanwhile, Canelo was on his dominant run, collecting belts in different weight classes, becoming boxing's biggest draw.
Gotcha. So two kings ruling separate kingdoms, basically.
Sort of, yeah. And the key milestones. Well, first, it usually starts with the hardcore fans and the writers, right? They see these two amazing talents and just start asking, what if? Then you get these moments where one of them does something huge, like Crawford becoming undisputed, or one of Canelo's big title defenses. That just pours fuel on the fire, restarts the debate.
Right. Reminds everyone how good they are.
Exactly. And sometimes when neither guy has an obvious next opponent lined up, that's when the dream fight talk gets really loud. Fans are always looking for the ultimate challenge for these guys.
So the narrative itself. What makes it a saga rather than just a potential fight?
It's the combination of elements, I think. It's definitely that long-standing fan desire for a match that always seemed tough logistically, mostly because of the weight. It's also framed as this classic clash of styles, Crawford's slick tactical genius versus Canelo's power and calculated pressure.
It's a boxer versus the puncher. Almost.
Yeah.
But way more nuanced.
Exactly. And maybe the most powerful driver. It's seen as this battle for ultimate legacy. The winner wouldn't just get another belt, they'd solidify their place among the all-time greats, especially by beating someone from a different natural weight class. Our sources really emphasize that these underlying stories, these narratives, are what give the current buzz so much depth and staying power.
That connection between their past achievements and the present excitement.
Oh.
Yeah, that puts it all into perspective. Thinking about those key moments, the turning points in any superfight saga, what are some aha moments that would help someone quickly grasp this long story, even without knowing every single date or fight?
Yeah, that's a good way to think about it. For any big saga like this, there are usually a few pivotal moments. One aha moment is often the first time the fighters, or their teams, publicly acknowledge the fight. Maybe a call-out.
Right, moves it from just fan talk to something real.
Exactly. It shifts from fantasy to maybe, just maybe, a stated goal. Another key point is often when one fighter makes a big career move that suddenly makes the fight seem more possible.
Like changing weight class. Or signing with a different promoter.
Precisely. Anything that reduces those logistical hurdles, even moving closer in weight, or joining a promoter who works with the other guy's camp. That can be huge. And then, of course, there's the moment when actual negotiations become public knowledge, even if they fall through initially.
Ah, so even failed talks keep the dream alive.
Absolutely. The fact that serious talks happened validates it as a real possibility. It keeps the saga simmering, and sometimes the aha moment isn't an event, it's more like a collective realization. It's when enough fans and experts just decide, okay, this fight needs to happen for both their legacies. It takes on a life of its own, The narrative starts demanding a conclusion. These are the kind of touchstones that turn a potential fight into a real saga.
Those are brilliant examples. Really gives you a feel for how these things build momentum over time. Okay, so let's connect the dots for the listener. What does understanding a super fight saga like this one actually mean for us, beyond just the fight itself? What are the broader takeaways?
Yeah, this is where pulling back helps see the bigger picture. Firstly, looking at these sagas really illuminates how athletic legacies are actually built. They aren't made in a vacuum, right? They're defined by the big challenges taken on, the rivalries, the iconic fights that people talk about for decades. Super fights aren't just about winning, they're about proving yourself against the absolute best, often pushing boundaries like weight classes. It's about leaving that permanent mark.
So it's the pursuit of greatness itself that we're seeing.
Exactly. Secondly, the way these topics trend. It tells us so much about public engagement. It shows the incredible power of fan culture in driving narratives, creating demand. It also highlights media influence, how anticipation gets amplified, and fundamentally, it shows the raw appeal of high-stakes competition. It taps into that basic human desire to see greatness tested, to witness triumph against the odds.
We love a good story, basically, especially with elite athletes.
We really do. These sagas become mirrors reflecting our fascination with peak performance and the narratives we weave around our heroes. And finally, for you, the listener, it really hammers home the value of taking that then-to-now perspective on any big trending topic. Our sources kind of led us down that path implicitly, didn't they?
Yeah, understanding the history was key.
Right. And that structured approach, even with just high-level info, it stops you from getting overwhelmed by the daily noise. It lets you connect the current buzz to its roots. You get a much deeper, more nuanced understanding of why something actually matters right now. True insight comes from tracing that story arc, not just seeing the latest headline.
That's incredibly well put. So just to recap quickly, we've looked at why Canelo versus Crawford is blowing up today. It's that weight challenge, their current dominance, the whispers from inside the sport. And we've traced the conceptual journey, the saga from fan dreams and parallel careers, through those key turning points like potential talks, all building to this current peak of anticipation. It really shows how history fuels the present in these huge sporting moments.
Absolutely. And maybe a final thought for you to consider. Think about how these big, enduring sagas in sports really reflect our fundamental need for compelling narratives. The stories we build around top athletes, the way we anticipate these dream matchups, that constant dance between their past achievements and what they might do next. That's what keeps these sagas alive and trending. You have to wonder how many other dream fights or major rivalries are just simmering right now, building their own sagas, waiting for that moment to burst into the mainstream. So yeah, definitely keep an eye on how this particular one continues to unfold. Because the thing about a saga is, it's rarely truly over until it's over. And sometimes, even then, the debate continues.